All right, we're going to talk some men's basketball here from Global Brew in Edwardsville. We've got the head men's basketball coach, Brian Baroni, with us here. Coach, let's go all the way back. This is where I started when we were talking to Sam too, but you have the first two conference games. You come into winter break. You've got a lot of time there. And you and I discussed this a little bit off air, just talking about there's always the balance, right? Do I bring in another team during that break, especially between Christmas and New Year's? You opted not to, just to come right into the January 2nd and 4th games at First Community Arena, and what an outcome. I mean, guys hit the floor running, if you will, but a couple of really good wins in front of some really good crowds at First Community Arena.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we came back and ran a little bit. We got some running in right when we get back. Yeah, when you sit there and you look at the schedule, there's so much that goes into the schedule. We've talked about it a bunch. And, you have it's hard to find a game right after Christmas. Certain teams can't play legally, depending on what division they're in. Some teams start conference right away.
Yep.
So, you're down to like a fourth of the country, Division I, that could even play, I feel like. And then you have some of the non-Division I. So we decided not to do it. Had we done, a game on the 28th or 27th, felt that you had to bring them back Christmas night. And, if I don't want to come back Christmas night,
yep.
And I want to spend time with my family and maybe they're ready to get rid of me that night. But our guys probably are feeling the same thing. But more importantly, their families are feeling that. And I think their families sacrifice so much for them to do what they get to do that when they have a few days off, it's like gold. So that's kind of why we decided not to play, and it paid off, obviously, with the way we returned, our mindset, and then the community was out there, and we've had some fun.
4 straight wins, obviously. That's the best way to take care of 2 losses to start the season, and very much like I when I talked to Coach Sam. You're not halfway through this Ohio Valley Conference season because it is so long, but you've gotten this team right back into the mix, a game out of first as we sit here tonight. Yeah,
you come at you look at it and it's you feel like we've been in it a little bit.
Yeah, right.
And then you're like, oh man, there's so much more.
There's a lot.
And so you just got to take it, it's all the cliches, the one game at a time. What you want to do is ultimately stack weeks. If you can get 2 in a week, that's obviously a very good week. We have other little dynamic, the way we kind of talk about the dynamics of our schedule. We broke it down to a 3-game. We had the 2 games right after break. Then we went to Eastern on a Tuesday, and that simulated our Indiana State, Canisius, Western Michigan, Canisius trip. And we talked about it. This team, we're built for this. We put this schedule together in the preseason to simulate what we were going to do in the season. And so we broke it down into that 3-game stretch, and then you flip it, and you're like, all right, now we got 1 going on after you beat Eastern, so let's go stack another 2 games. So it's a long season. You try to think of different ways to keep everyone fresh and engaged. And have a really good staff and that's able to do that with us.
4-game winning streak. I mentioned this to you after Saturday's game, but the average allowed is 57.3 points by your team in that 4-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. That is tremendous. That is the mark. That is an elite defensive level, and I know that any coach in the country will tell you that they want that defense to show up night after night, and it definitely has for you guys.
Yeah, I think one of the things with our defense is, it's been nice. There's no doubt about it. And when we took over several years ago, that was one of the things that we were on the bottom of everything defensively. And over these last few years, we've been upper third of conference, and right now we're in some good defensive categories because I think our togetherness, our connectivity as a team, we're not doing anything that's crazy. We're bought in. We're bought into. If my buddy needs me to rotate because he makes a mistake, I'm going to go rotate. If my partner over there is doing right, I'm going to stay true to the scouting report and stay where I need to be because I don't have to help right there. And then we have enough players that when you need to make that extra play that you can't put on the scouting report, you just got to go make a play. We haven't had to live on those plays. You live on 6 or 7 of them a game instead of trying to survive 15 to 18, scramble situations. So that's what's been really good for us.
it feels to me, and this goes back again to the non-conference season. I remember specifically Indiana State, that the mood kind of was like, hey, we're on the road for work. We're on the road to do a job. But I feel like that approach is carried over. And I think about a game like Saturday where the team goes down 12 in the first half to Tennessee Tech, and there wasn't a panic or a scramble like you were talking about. It was like, there are certain things we need to do. We're going to check these boxes. We're going to do it. And you look up, and by halftime, it's a 1-point game. And a minute into the second half, SIUE has the lead. And I feel like it's because of that approach.
Yeah, no, it's really, my old coach, I was talking to Coach Crane after the Indiana game. And, he said, don't let them accept losing the way you lost if you thought that you lost because of things that you did.
Right.
And that was big. I thought, we went in there and said, hey, listen, fellas, we lost because of this. It's not just because they had all these lottery picks and they were just dominant. They beat us. But we did some things that didn't help us. So I think this team has really accepted the coaching, the criticism, the critique, if you will. And I thought that in that first, segment they had 22, 24 points. We were guarding. We had 3 shot clock violations, and we really should have had another one. And there was another one. The ball was out of bounds. So don't get me started on all this. And we got undercut. But we had a lot of things where we were still doing some good things defensively, and we missed 3 or 4 shots at the rim or some good looks, or we didn't shoot it the right way, but we were getting the shot we wanted. So we reminded ourselves of it, and as much as I go into the huddles and act like I'm controlling it and draw something and look cool and things like that, when you're sitting there and looking at a group of guys that they're like, all right, what do we got to do next? That's just the approach. You worry about what you need to do right now. You don't worry about what happened or what's going to happen. Are you doing what you're supposed to do right now? And they really did a good job going into half and taking control from there on out.
The other thing is, I think about this team and where it is right now is it feels like if player A is not having a great night, then player B is going to step up. Mm-hmm. And if player C maybe is not scoring, he's going to be rebounding. It just seems like there are interchangeable parts within this team that a different guy might step or a different guy might give you what you need that night.
Well, a few things. Like now there's a lot of people like you that don't know players' names because guys are leaving so much. So you got A, B, and C. We're just randomly doing things now. Here we've had really good retention, so we're trying to really do a good job. But no, I know what you're saying. Like we've always been a versatile team since we've had the opportunity to take over, and that's one of our things. We like to have a Swiss Army knife type of concept. Ring Malith, who you're going to talk to shortly, is that in a nutshell. And I think that when somebody's not doing it might not even be doing what is noticeable.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Desmond Polk is he's every game, like he could come away with very little stats, and his impact on the game is huge for us. Then the next game he might have 15. So I think we have an ability right now where different guys have understand that we have to pick up for each other when something's lacking, or if something is just the game is going a particular way. We've had so many injuries this year that I think our team is kind of built in a way. Like we have Joe Valerie, Darian Baker, Kyle Thomas is out, Arnie got hurt the other day. Like there's so many different things that we've been able to we've just kind of had to adjust.
Yep.
Where maybe it's helped us, in certain ways.
Coach, we'll have more to come with you. As you mentioned, Ring Malith is coming up here at Global Brew as we continue our men's basketball coaches show here. We're coming right back. All right, it is my pleasure to welcome to our other microphone here as we come back at Global Brew to the junior Ring Malith. In his first season here at SIUE, transfer in from Barton Community College. You welcome Ring Malith.
I appreciate you.
I think important when I talk to fans, they always want to get to know our players. They want to get to know who they're seeing out there. So let the folks know you're from South Sudan. When did you come to the United States?
I came to the United States in 2019. I think beginning of 2019. That's when I came here.
And did you come here for basketball?
Yeah. So I came here for basketball. I got recruited by my guardian from Africa. Like she brings kids here to attend school and also play basketball, and that's how I came here.
So that's specifically what her job is she essentially scouting players in Africa to come to bring them here? Is that?
I mean, not really, but like long time ago, she came. Somebody gave her a chance to come to U.S. and she's just trying to do the same, try to help kids, like bring kids to U.S. and take them to school, and just follow their dreams.
So you were at Barton Community College, which is in Kansas, correct?
Yes.
And one of the things that one of the first things I learned about you from the coaching staff, yourself and Miles, you won a national championship at Barton Community College, a wildly successful couple of years, but certainly last year. What does that do for you? How much does that mean to you to go and win a national championship?
I mean, it meant a lot. Just because my freshman year, we lost in the finals too, and that kind of hurt our feeling. And we had a group of guys we had to come back for next year too. So we was like, man, we gotta go and just work and just come back and win it all next year, so that we don't have the excuse not to make the tournament again.
When you're playing at Barton, is it a goal of yours to go Division I, or is it just to move on and continue to play ball somewhere?
I mean, it's been my goal to play Division I since from high school. I kind of got recruited, but since COVID happened, so they all went away and tried to get all the guys.
Was it important to you, and I don't know the timing, you can tell me the timing here, that Miles signed and you signed obviously very close to one another at SIUE. How important was that you were going to go with a teammate to your next school?
I mean, it was exciting. I mean, Miles signed before me, and I always had a feeling coming here, but I don't know, just having Miles here and having the confidence in coaches that I was willing to come here and whatever they provide for me on the table. And I just liked it here on my visit, so I was like, one of my teammates coming here, why not just come here with my teammate? It makes it easy. Just somebody I know, so that I don't got to start again building.
So what was it about the visit here? Was it the coaching staff? Was it the campus? Was it a little of both?
It was a little bit of both. I mean, I like Coach Brownie. I did talk to him the first time, and Coach Harlington too. He kind of coached my former coach, and he has a relationship with my coach. So that just kind of gave me a confidence that I knew they were going to take good care of me. And I also talked to my coaches, and they knew them. So it's just a little JUCO connection. So I was like, yeah.
Was there any? Did you feel like there was like a big learning curve coming from the junior college level to the Division I level? Was it a huge change?
It is definitely a huge change. I mean, I still experience it playing too. There's a lot of different things, just the physicality and stuff. I mean, I feel like I got the skill set, but I just got to get used to the physicality because I feel like I still get knocked around on my plays and stuff, but I just got to get used to it, and I'll figure it out.
How nice has it been to be part of this team that is, and not just this year, but I'm sure you're aware in the last couple of years, this team is making strides, it's making progress, and obviously a goal of this team is to get to the end of the road at the OVC tournament and ultimately get into the national tournament. So how much has that meant to you to be a part of something like that?
It really meant a lot. I just believe in my teammates. Just knowing all my teammates, everybody want to win. Just every day you go to practice, everybody competing hard. Everybody want to win, and we just have that anger in us that we got to make sure we got to take it day by day and win every game we can, and just play as hard as you can and try to win every game.
When we were talking to Coach Baroni and we were talking about one of the things, like I said, that I notice is, on a night that someone might not be scoring. Instead of using player A and player B. So you're at Eastern Illinois. Rayshon's struggling a little bit in the first half. You seem to almost not be able to miss. It was just one of those nights, like you were on this way, Rayshon wasn't. Both of you very good at the free throw line. But there's other nights, as Coach said, it might be Desmond Polk that steps up. It might be Miles Thompson scores 7 consecutive points in that game Saturday against Tennessee Tech. What's that like to be a part of a group that, hey, if it's maybe an off day for me, I am confident that someone's going to pick it up?
I mean, one thing I would say is just we got a group of guys that are everybody willing to do their job. So whatever is not my night, my teammate make sure they have my back. So, because one thing people don't know, we have a lot of good players. So everybody can really score, but it's just about how you fit in the system and how you just gotta do your job and your role. So if my role tonight is to score, I'm going to do that. But if my role is to play defense and get rebound and they're playing good defense on me, I got to make sure I get my teammate involved also. So.
Rebounding seems to be one of the things that you don't have an off night with. And sometimes it's sort of like you either have a good night or you have a great night. What fuels that? What fuels that desire to go get the rebound? Because I know, obviously, rebounding has a lot to do with your size, but rebounding also has a lot to do with your heart and your desire to just basically go get the ball. Where does that come from?
I mean, I would say my freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't a good rebounder, but
You were not?
I mean, I wasn't really a good rebounder because I never got a chance to play down and battle with a lot of taller guys. But now I got a chance to play down, and I just figured out in our team, like they need me to do that role to get a rebound. So I just got to do it every night, and no matter what, I'm gonna just try to go grab the ball as much as I can and just give us extra possession.
Well, you've done it. You've done it really well. If you're not aware, earlier this year he had a 19 rebound game, which is the single game high at Division I for SIUE. Ring, it was great to spend some time with you to get to know you a little bit better. Looking forward to it. Good luck on the road this week as we head to Tennessee State and UT Martin, man.
Appreciate it.
Ring Malith, everyone. All right, final segment for us here from Global Brew tonight on our men's basketball coaches show here. We're glad everybody is with us. Thanks for coming out tonight. Back at the mic here is the Cougars head men's basketball coach, Brian Baroni. We talked to Ring, and I asked him just kind of about the same thing that you said, right? But the thing that he mentioned, and this is something you say all the time, is that people may not realize there's a whole bench full of great basketball players there, that just because they might not get into a particular game certainly doesn't mean that they weren't capable of contributing in that game.
There's no doubt. We lost Tennessee Tech once this week already. We lost to Eastern Illinois earlier in the week. And what I mean by that, in Western
That's
Illinois,
right. I know.
We do a bunch of game scenarios in the scouting, where like Miles Thompson hit 4 or 5 threes for Tennessee Tech last week, and he had a pretty big one for SIUE this week.
Did he ever? And
one of the things that, when you get a group of guys to buy into their role and they're simulating what the other team is doing, we did. Like, we played game scenarios, and we do different situations where we treat the other team as though they're the other team to a certain extent in certain segments of practice, and they beat us because they're good players and they're bought in. And it's not easy to do that. It's hard, all right, because we recruit guys and they are all able to contribute on our team. And you can't play them all at once, obviously. And I think when you have the Jordan Hamiltons and the Eddie Tirado, Jordan Pickett's a good example right now. He's kind of in that in-between where he's really on the other team throughout the week, but he's coming in and contributing right away. And so is Miles in terms of the understanding of the balance. Des Polk was that for 3 or 4 years for us. So I have a group of guys that are good basketball players, but more importantly, they're very good people as well.
You mentioned Jordan Pickett, and I want to mention him because I said this on the broadcast Tuesday at Eastern Illinois. He had very little time minute-wise, but it was huge. He came in, hit a 3 from the right wing. I think the next possession or, a possession, 2 possessions later, he had a big assist. And then I think ended up, maybe having a steal as well, right? Like a very small amount of time, but you're talking about someone who is going to spend more time in this particular game, more time sitting on the bench. But when he came in and when it was his time, the mind was locked in. And I think that's a tribute to you and your coaches and the way that you prepare these players.
Yeah, I mean, it's their teammates.
Sure.
Their teammates are going in there and, they're, building each other up on a daily basis while also trying to not lose to them. Yeah, Jordan comes in and he hits the shot exactly what we talked about. We got a double in the post. We talked about being on the weak side, step into it. He comes in right away, wide open shot, buries it. He comes in with a left-handed pass. He gets to a particular spot in our spacing, spaces out accordingly, kicks it to him. It's a shot that he could 50-50 have taken historically. Makes a left-handed pass to Brian Taylor for a quick shot. And then he was phenomenal in our ball screen defense. And he set the tone with a certain level of physicality. Whatever the minutes were, I'm fired up about those 3 or 4 plays,
right,
because those impacted the game, and it showed everyone else what it was going to take, because we simulate and you want to mimic each other's success. And when someone goes in there and changes the game in a few minutes or enhances the game in a few minutes, it's also given us the answers to continue to do that moving forward.
One of the things that I know was a stated goal and something you put out there, be better on the road. Mm-hmm. You have 3 true road wins already this year. Add a neutral win to that. You had 3 on the road all of last year. Already an improvement. But as you get ready to play a little stretch here where you're going to go 4 of 6 on the road, and you talked about it a little bit, but it was not an accident what you did in the non-conference season, right? And that's why, at least in my eyes, that's why this team is prepared to go and play these 4 out of 6 on the road right now.
Yeah, when you get into conference, you're always going to have some stretches that are road, right?
Yep.
Difficult. Yep. Whether you have this year you have a Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday. Historically we've had a lot on the road. In one particular stretch. So what you want to do is there's a lot of things, whether you play on a Thursday and a Saturday. To simulate what you're in the non-conference, to simulate conference. You play, neutral site, whatever it is, 3 games in 3 days, and in the hopes of, towards mimicking the tournament at the end. There's so many different things you kind of play as the what if in trying to prepare. And right now we're in this little bit of a stretch where we were gone early November for quite a while, and we responded relatively well. And now we're gonna, reference that, and we have to go down and take care of business. But ultimately, 2 years ago we had the most road wins in school history, and every team's a little different.
Yep.
Right. Last year we had the most home game wins in history. So I think we have a group of guys that have done both. Now we just want to kind of package it together, and it starts on Thursday.
So specifically, and this is, again, something else that I raised with Coach Sam, and you can say it for any conference in the country, but any given night, right? I look at Saturday, and Tennessee State, who is one of the down on the bottom of the standings, goes and gets a 20-point win. So you're facing Tennessee State, but there's no chance to there's no night off in the Ohio Valley Conference.
No, I feel like the conference is different in that way.
Yep.
Than when I was first here 7-8 years ago. I felt like the bottom kind of was the bottom back then. The top was actually pretty darn good, and I think the conference collectively is night in, night out. You can never take a game lightly, but definitely now there's not that. You look at that. And one of the things about Tennessee State is they're healthy. They haven't been as healthy. I know their record doesn't look great necessarily. But when you see them walk on the court and a group of guys they have put together right now and being healthy, it makes sense that they had a big win at Western Illinois. So I think, with our guys, you have to make sure that you're talking about, what it takes to go in there strategy-wise to win the game, what we have to do. And we talk about respecting the 4,700, which is the square footage of the basketball court. Stole it from the respect the 90 back in the Cubs back in the day. You got to run that 90 no matter what. Run it out every time. But we talk about that. You go out there, you have to respect that 4,700 because you have to understand that like you said, any given night, there's an opponent out there that you have to go out there and respect the game. And if you don't respect the game, you're not going to come out successful night in, night out.
What are the things you're looking at, or what are a couple of things you're looking at right now specifically for Thursday? What's Tennessee State going to give you problems with?
They score. It's neat because they have the best scoring offense in the league. They have the best offensive rebound in the league. They're top of the league in rebounding. They're by far the biggest team in the league from what I've seen on film and on paper. So I think those are the things that we're going to have to do a good job of. They're going to, in terms of pressuring, trying to dominate the glass is what they want to do. And that's kind of the mindset of going in. On the road, they historically are a very good pressure team, especially at their own place. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to handle That's a little different than some teams that we've played the last few games.
There's been some really tight games in the SIUE Tennessee State series. How much can you lean on even games like you've played the last week? A really tight game at Eastern Illinois, a really tight game against Tennessee Tech. How much do you lean on that actually knowing how to, hey, we can handle this? It might be close, it might be nerve-wracking, but we're built for it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to reference it. There's no doubt about it. Today, Coach Hallenthal came up to me. He's like, hey, let's do some scenarios. And he just started throwing me random scenarios at the end, that I didn't know as a staff, too. And he was like, all right, down one with 12 seconds or 12 seconds tie game. We had to get a stop. We got to stop today. So we're in overtime right now. So it was good. We got to get back.
Let us know how that turns out.
I'll let you know tomorrow when we tip it up. But we do that, we again, out of all of our water breaks in the preseason, prior to the season really getting in, after every water break, we have a minute 30 water break. We come out, we have 2 scenarios. There's 2 seconds left. We have baseline out of bounds. Red team's got the ball. They're up 1. Make or miss. Because as a coach, sometimes, that's my team over there too. So if we get a stop, I should be happy.
Not right.
But if I'm the one drawing it, I'm like, oh, and do it again. You get all grumpy, and then an hour later, you still got 3 hours of practice. So then we flip it right away, and then we'll say you're up 3 with the ball 5 seconds left. So now you're gonna have to teach a team how to get to foul, how to make the free throw, how to close out the game. So we practice those, and a lot of times we take situations of games that we've been in the past. And it's cool to have guys that have been around me for a long time, because a lot of times they're going to be referencing certain situations. Ring the other day was on the free throw line against late game, was it Eastern or it was Eastern, and Ray was saying, get off the line, don't go over anyone's back. Now that was a reference to our beloved former teammate Shamar Wright potentially going over someone's back at Little Rock, and so it's neat to see that from the team.
Yep.
And them tap into those type of things.
Coach, thanks as always for taking some time on this Monday night. It's a busy week, obviously, on the road for Tennessee State and UT Martin, and then coming back here, and obviously they're all big, but it'll be a big week again at First Community Arena after that, so we appreciate it as always.
No, thanks for having me. Excited
Cougars
to do
head
it.
coach Brian Baroni. Thanks so much to everyone here at Global Brew for coming out, for visiting with us. Thanks to our student athletes and our coaches. We always appreciate it. And we're back here on the 27th of January for our next edition of the Cougar Coaches Show. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.